This is Eric from IONCINEMA.com with a very special edition of Indie Sponge live from the Venice Film Festival. It's day -1. As you can see behind me, this is an empty press room. I am joined by a fan of the Venice Film Festival. He's on the other side of the pond, Kevin Jagernauth. Thanks for joining us.
Always a pleasure.
With Telluride, TIFF, the New York Film Fest, London BFI, San Sebastian, there's an overlap of the titles that we might discuss here and our
Mhm.
top five most anticipated films from Venice. Let's just dig into this. Kevin, what would be your number five pick if you were here physically with me? Which
I
would
was
be?
there physically with you. I think my number five pick would be Dead Man's Wire. Yeah, the new film from Gus Van Sant, which I have to admit it was off my radar. I totally forgot or didn't notice it was being made. And it's an interesting one for him because it seems like it's a thriller. He's doing a thriller about a real life about a based on a true story about a hostage and kidnapping with Bill Skarsgård, who's always interesting. Al Pacino has a small role, so I'm very curious about this picture and how it will differ and what things we'll see from Gus Van Sant and across his filmography in this picture. And especially he hasn't made a feature since 2018, so it's been a while. So it'll be interesting to have him back and see how the picture goes over.
Um, just to
Yeah.
let
Yep.
our folks know that the majority of my films, my most anticipated films are in the competition. However, my number five pick is a film that normally should have been in competition because the last time she was here, she won the Golden Lion. So I'm talking about Laura Poitras, who is joined here by Mark Obanos for Cover Up. It's not a competition film. This is coming after Citizen 4 in 2014, Risk 2016, and again, all the beauty and the bloodshed in 2022. Cover Up explores the investigative journalism career of Seymour Hersh, a Pulitzer Prize winning journalist that covered the U.S. Army torture scandals during the Vietnam War and the Iraq War. I took a really quick look at, I believe it was a clip, and it feels like terrain that was explored with our friend that made the Thin Blue Line. It feels
Mhm.
as if there's a tit for tat connection with the subject here. So I'm expecting something that might be slick, but especially probing, and seeing that this is a film that's going to be shown at Telluride, at TIFF, at the New York Film Fest as well. I believe this is one of the rare films to cover all four major film festivals, and that's excluding the London BFI Fest. So, surprised that it's out of comp, but that's my number five pick.
That's a good pick. I mean, her films always spark big discussion, so I expect the same here.
Kevin, what's your number four?
My number four is a film that I think we both expected to be in Cannes, and it wasn't. Is Jim Jarmusch's Father, Mother, Sister, Brother. It's this picture that's been in the works for about a year or so now. I believe it shot some of it in Paris and some of it elsewhere. It's sort of an interconnecting. It's a bit of cigarettes and coffee and cigarettes, and that's a bit of intersecting stories. But the cast is amazing. Kate Blanchett, Vicky Krieps, Adam Driver, Tom Waits. So yeah, I mean, Jarmusch rarely misses. I'm excited to see what he's cooking up with this one. This film is actually skipping Toronto, I believe, and going. I don't think it's been announced for New York, but I think it's going. I can't remember, but it's Jim Jarmusch. So yeah, I'm here for it all the time, all the way.
I expect you to explore your nicotine habits, if you do have any post screening for this. So you'll have to wait a little while because you
Yeah.
will be in Toronto, but this won't be there. So fingers crossed for a 2025 release. My number four pick is from a filmmaker whose last film I detested, and that's Pietro Marcello's Deuce. I'm a huge fan of Martin Eden, the 2019 film, It's a film. He's a filmmaker that was in the docu-sphere, then slowly went into fiction, and I think he breathes just an exciting air of paint, almost painterly aesthetics. He's not afraid to combine different types of footage, and this is propelled by Valeria Bruni Tudici, who is a famous Italian slash French actress, and essentially it follows the life of an Italian stage actress named Eleanor Duse prior to World War One, and abrupt societal changes caused by the conflict. Um,
Hmm.
it's obviously a costume design friendly pick. It's a very pronounced in terms of the production design. But I'm expecting him to really go into his toolbox to sort of like put that pastiche together and place those elements that made him such a strong authorial voice in art and even in previous films as well. So I'm excited for this feature and to see how it'll play out in competition.
And
Kevin? Yep.
it should be interesting to see how Tedeschi and Noemi Merlan, because they're star co-star, how they interact together. That will be quite exciting.
Yeah. Kevin, what's your number three pick?
My number three is Lucretia Martel's Landmarks, the long-awaited documentary she's been making about Javier Chacobar, who was an indigenous leader who was murdered, and her story about this. And I mean, it's Lucretia Martel. Anytime we get a film from her is a cause for celebration. So yeah, I mean, that's what else is there to say? She's a tremendous filmmaker with a tremendous voice, and her telling of this story is sure to be provocative.
And just a little anecdote or side note with concerns to that film. This follows Zama, which was also at the Venice Film Festival, and both films are playing out a competition. And it was originally called Chacobar. Like you said, this has been in the works for almost a decade, so I'm surprised she's getting an out of competition slot. Thousands of hours put into thousands of hours were filmed yeah, I'm very much looking forward to it. My number three pick is a third feature film from a filmmaker who blasted off in 2015 with Son of Saul. He would
Mm,
then give us Sunset in 2018. We're talking about Laszlo Nemes Orphan, the Hungarian filmmaker. So this is almost 7 years since his last feature, and essentially he's digging back into his own family's history, his grandfather, and piecing together what should be potentially another great. I mean, is there such a thing as a great war pick? That
mm.
doesn't seem like those two words should go together, but potentially, if it's anything close to Son of Saul, I'm totally down for it. I believe he's still with the same DP, Mateos, and so yeah, I'm crossing my fingers for this one.
Yeah, it'll be, I mean, for this one, it feels like it almost it needs to succeed because Sunset was so not well received. So he's really got a lot hanging on this picture, I feel.
Yeah. Kevin, what's your number two pick?
Number two is Ildiko Nyeti's Silent Friend. And the big reason it's my number two is for actually two reasons. Tony Leung and Lea Seydoux in the same film together is that's like cinephile heaven, really. The film is quite ambitious. It feels like almost The Beast, except it's told around I think a bonsai tree and spanning four different eras. So the filmmaker for me can be really hit and miss.
Hmm.
Like I loved On Body and Soul, really hated Story of My Life. Um, so we'll see. I think this is another one where it's like a lot is hanging on this film, especially with the talent involved and the ambitious story behind it. But yeah, I'll be seated for it in Toronto for sure.
It's a film that's going to play a little bit later in competition, which doesn't really mean anything, but it's just a little
Mhm.
factoid to insert there. My number two pick is another third feature from a filmmaker that I quite admired in 2014 with her micro indie film called The Sleepwalker. And then she gave us 2020, The World to Come, when the world was shutting down. It played Venice, and it that along with the projects that she writes with her confrère Brady Corbet. I think Mona Fassvold is just a fascinating talent. And so this Norwegian filmmaker who's based in the US made The Testament of Anne Lee. That project was filmed in the UK. A great top talent and Amanda Seyfried, who is really somebody who picks a lot of interesting roles these days and works with some of the top auteurs. So I'm looking at this as a non-musical. It's filmed on 70 millimeter. So again, checking off the box for making a difficult project like Brady did.
Mhm.
Essentially, it's a 17th, 18th century bio. And there's going to be a lot of song and dance in this feature. And there was a great Vanity Fair article earlier today. So if you want to know more about that film, you can check out the article. But essentially, this is a film that's coming to the festival with no distribution deal in place. So it's going to be there's going to be a bidding war potentially for this film before it lands at TIFF. So that's my number two pick.
A good
Kevin,
pick.
yeah.
I will say that I think Mona Fastvold is continually underrated as both a writer and a director. I thought The World to Come was amazing, so I'm very excited. She's really swinging with an 18th century set musical about the Shakers, who are a religious
Yeah,
sect. So yeah, this could be tremendous. But I'm here for it. I'm here for what she has up her sleeve on this one. So yeah. And my number one is No Other Choice, Park Chan-wook. I mean, he's consistently fascinating, interesting. He's back in his sort of thriller milieu with this one, thriller black comedy milieu,
mm,
with an adaptation of a book by Donald Westlake, who's a crime writer. I believe this book was previously adapted by oh, who's the guy? The guy who did Z.
Costa Gravre.
Yeah, Costa
Yeah,
Gravis. He did The Axe.
the axe. Yeah.
And interestingly, Canadian connection here. Don McKellar is a co-writer on the screenplay. So there's a lot of interesting facets here. But I'm just ready to see Park Chan-wook have a lot of fun and deliver something really, really entertaining.
That just fell out of my top five picks. That along with Yorgos Lanthimos. My number one pick was your number three pick. Again, Lucrecia Martel. It's just really
Yeah.
exciting whenever she comes out with. I wish she had the pace of a Claire Denis, but she doesn't. She spends her time on these projects. It takes her time, but I'm super excited for this docu. And again, it's playing out a competition at the Venice Film Festival, but we should be hearing the trades, I think, midweek this week. So
Yeah.
yeah, keep your ears out and eyes peeled for yeah the critical assessment for this film.
Yeah.
That does it for our top five countdown or count up, depending on which direction you think is worthy. Kevin, we'll speak very soon because we're also doing our top three
Yes, sir.
predictions for the Golden Lion. So stay tuned for that, folks. I'm Eric Lavallée. I'm editor-in-chief and site owner for IONCINEMA.com, and this is,
Kevin Jagernauth, contributing writer for the playlist.
and together we are Indie Sponge.